Let me tell you a story, one that sounds like fantasy, but is actually recorded in Japan's legal history. Over 100 years ago, there lived a mysterious woman in Japan who could, believe it or not, create miracle water from thin air. A water that people claimed could heal any illness. Her powers were so astonishing, they were even tested in court, publicly, and recognized. Her name was Osanami Toshie. Today, she is remembered as Japan's first legally acknowledged psychic. Osanami Toshie was born in 1863 in Tsuruoka, a peaceful town in Yamagata Prefecture. She was an ordinary girl with little education, nothing special, until she turned 20. That's when things started getting strange. Suddenly, she couldn't eat. Everything she tried to eat made her violently ill. She could barely nibble on sweet potatoes or drink a sip of water. Meat? She couldn't even smell it without vomiting. Naturally, her parents were terrified. They called the village doctor. But after checking her pulse, he shook his head and said, "She's perfectly healthy. Her pulse is strong. There's no illness." Yet Osanami Toshie got worse. Eventually, she couldn't eat anything. Even drinking cold water made her cough up blood. But here's the mystery. Despite eating nothing, she didn't get weaker. In fact, she began to look better. Her skin glowed. Her energy improved. At 25, people said she looked more like 15, cheerful, fresh, and clean, almost like she didn't belong to this world. Then something even stranger happened. Without anyone teaching her, Osanami Toshie developed what she called divine communication. She would pray, and people nearby would hear mysterious music floating in the air. No instruments, no source, just music. From nowhere. Sometimes, during these trances, she would draw or paint. One famous painting of a squirrel in bamboo amazed art experts. Perfect brushwork, balanced composition. But remember, Nanny had no formal education. She had never studied painting. People began to whisper, "This woman has been chosen by the gods." Soon, her most famous ability emerged. She could fill empty bottles with miracle water, liquid that appeared out of nowhere during her prayers. People drank it and were healed. Chronic illnesses, incurable diseases, gone. Word spread like wildfire. She and her brother lived in Osaka at the time. Their home was flooded with visitors, all bringing empty bottles. Osanami Toshie asked them to write their names on the bottles and place them on a small altar. Then she would kneel, close her eyes, and begin to pray. 10 minutes later, something unbelievable would happen. The bottles were full. And not just with plain water. Each bottle had a different color: red, yellow, blue, even bark brown. People said it looked like a table full of rainbow potions. Those who drank it often recovered. But not everyone received a full bottle. Some bottles remained empty. Her brother explained. That means the gods have judged them beyond healing. Medicine can't cure a soul whose time has come. Osanami Toshie herself only lived into her 40s. 2 months before her death, she predicted her exact day of passing and faced it calmly. When critics later said, "Why didn't she heal herself with her own water?" her supporters answered, "Even miracle workers must obey the fate written for them." As crowds grew, so did suspicion. Japan was modernizing rapidly during the Meiji era. Practicing medicine required a license, and Osanami Toshie didn't have one. Some who didn't receive miracle water accused her of fraud. In 1895, Osanami Toshie was arrested for deception. But something strange happened in jail. For over 2 months, police watched her. She didn't eat, drink, or even use the toilet. In the heat of summer, when other prisoners were drenched in sweat, Osanami Toshie remained clean and fresh. Her hair stayed neat, her body gave off a light fragrance, and not a single mosquito dared bite her. She even produced miracle water in prison, along with a protective charm and a mysterious herbal powder, which a fellow inmate later used. Her brother, desperate to prove her innocence, sent a detailed testimony of these prison miracles to the warden. The warden didn't sign it publicly, but in a private letter he admitted, yes, these events truly happened. In 1900, the press wanted answers. Reporters from the Osaka Asahi newspaper arranged a public test. Bottles were placed in a room. Osanami Toshie was asked to pray. Hours passed. Finally, she emerged with bottles full of amber-colored liquid. Some reporters were convinced. Others doubted. She brought the bottles out herself. Maybe she swapped them secretly. Why couldn't we see her hands during the ritual? But one sharp-eyed journalist said, the bottles were cold. If she had hidden them under her clothes, they would have been warm. I don't think she cheated. Still, doubts remained, and Osanami Toshie was arrested again, this time for 10 days. Her brother had had enough. He sued the police for wrongful arrest and hired a top lawyer, Yokoyama Ataro, who would later become a top prosecutor in Tokyo. This time, the case reached the Kobe District Court. The courtroom was packed. Everyone wanted to see the so-called water priestess prove herself once and for all. The judge, Mr. Nakano, asked her directly, "Can you create this miracle water here, in court?" Nanny replied calmly, "Of course. Just give me a private space, and a way to cover my body." She was searched head to toe. Nothing was found. 2 sealed bottles were given to her. She walked into a phone room, recently emptied due to renovations. No one could say she rigged the place. Minutes later, some say 5. Others say only 2. Osanami Toshie returned. The bottles were full. Deep brown liquid swirled inside. The courtroom was stunned. Judge Nakano tasted it and said, "It tastes a bit like wine." He asked, "Can this cure illness?" Osanami Toshie replied, "It can heal all kinds of suffering." The court ruled in her favor. Osanami Toshie was declared not guilty. She had officially passed the test. The miracle water was real. Osanami Toshie returned to her hometown, where she lived quietly until her death in 1907. Despite her fame, she remained simple and childlike. She treated the sick, helped people find lost objects with her abilities, and played tug-of-war with the neighborhood kids. Her brother swore. She had the strength of 3 grown men. After she passed, the people of Yamagata built a shrine for her at Nangaku-ji Temple, Tsuruoka City, Yamagata Prefecture. Her spirit is honored alongside other living Buddhas believed to possess divine powers. Even today, many believe the temple is protected by her presence. And her legend continues to inspire those who seek the mysterious and the miraculous.
Subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss what's coming next. Share it, because some stories are meant to be discovered together. And stay curious. I'll see you in the next chapter.